What experiences in the Tariqa have been your best, but also which have been your most difficult?
Well, the best experiences, I think, have to do with relationships.
Yes. And the chance to meet some of these particularly special people.
Yes, exactly.
Sheikh Abu Bakr and people like,
Right. In person.
Yeah, these older people that actually, knew the Tariqa and had a little bit of life wisdom.
And to know them to a degree that they're not simply an icon,
Yes. Oh, yes, exactly. They're real people.
Yeah, it's one thing to meet someone like that. It's quite something else to have lunch.
Yeah, I didn't get to do that with the Dalai Lama.
Right. So, yes, relationships are particularly special. And that's, I think that's a common experience.
Yes. And although I don't remember them right now, or maybe anymore, I do remember that I have had some breathtakingly inspired moments. And that's always nice.
And there are breathtaking and inspiring people around. And part of the value of the Tariqa is we got to meet some of them.
That's right.
Some of them may not have been quite as breathtaking as we thought. Some of them were a lot more breathtaking than we thought,
Maybe. Who's in that more than we thought category?
I think people I got to know over time. I guess Brother James Ketzinger comes to mind.
Oh, well, sure. Yeah. Yeah, he had a lot more to him than one might have thought at first.
Generally, it's the great people were a little disappointing because of the cultish atmosphere of the Tariqa, and that they really couldn't hold up to the kind of rock star accolades people insisted they be given.
Yeah, that people insist that any spiritual person should have.
Yes.
So why don't you?
Yes. Well, right. Exactly. Why don't you? Maybe you don't get it. Maybe you're not worthy.
Maybe you're not spiritual after all.
Yeah, because if you were, you'd have the same attitude that we do.
That's right. So you must be a profane person who's lost his way.
Right. Sayyid Badriya?
Let's see. Best, I'd say, would be the human interactions, good conversations, meeting friends, people that, as you said, I think the people, the good people, like the two of you and a few others. And also realizing that some of the individuals that were either directly in the Tariqa or affiliated in some way with it that might not have been at the center are actually the people that impacted me the most as time went on.
Yeah, that can happen.
I'm thinking, I didn't know him personally, but Brother James, and then through his writings, and then Philip Sherrard,
Right.
definitely. Whereas a lot of the people in the center of the Tariqa, over time, just, I don't want to say anything too negative, but
no, I understand.
Some of the cultish atmosphere and whatnot, it was just a problem.
Right. Understood.
Well, there's always a temptation to think that the role you play is really who you are.
Right, and it's still going on.
It always goes on.
I happened to be reading an article by David Bentley Hart the other day, and it was this very good article on Christian politics in America. And Hart really ripped both, American Christianity and American politics, a new one.
Yeah.
But then along pops this person with an Arabic name and starts name dropping Kumaraswamy and stuff. Oh, are you familiar with Kumaraswamy? And then, Hart says like, oh yeah, I'm familiar with him. I like his early writings better, blah, blah. and then suddenly it devolves into this thing where this person is basically trying to present this doctrinaire for fundamentalist perennialist perspective. And Hartzell, you know, I respect you. I respect your views. I personally absolutely adored, you know, James Cutzinger as a person, but you know, Fritjof Schwann never did anything for me.
His writings did for me.
Right. I mean, I guess the thing is with Hart, he's a universalist, but he's a universalist that believes in pluralistic universalism in the sense that he believes that people from different faiths can believe in different things and practice different things and still be saved. You know, that his reading of the classic, particularly Gregory of Nyssa and Origen, that, you know, it's completely irrelevant. Someone may not be even Christian at all and yet still belong to the church in the eyes of God. It's a way of like saying that all essentially are all are going to be saved. They're already saved, you know, in a certain sense here and now. Whereas a lot of the orthodox perennialism, traditionalism, especially that coming from Guénaud, but there's that real strand in the public writings of Schwann as well, says, you know, there's an exoteric core of the religions that are different, but the esoteric core, it's the same. It's completely the same. And it's sort of a leveling, a reducing down to a least lowest common denominator of the religions that actually takes away, I think, a lot of the individuality and beauty. And it's, I think, a real flaw in the perennialist metaphysic way it's been presented in our Tariqa.
Well, I know that, I mean, it sounds like this David Hart guy, which I've never read, is a real perennialist.
Oh, yeah, definitely a real perennialist, just not a Kantian perennialist.
Oh, well, yeah, I don't know. I think if you get Schwann's message, you really get it. You wouldn't disparage another religion. You'd even let go of the notion that your particular religion just had to be the best, if not the only true religion. And
well, in that case, I would have to say then, you know, if nothing else, then to play the devil's advocate, then of course, you know, I actually had a private exchange with Hart after this, and you know, he said this person was annoying him a bit. I could tell that whoever this person is, I didn't know the name, but he was probably affiliated with Nasser. And you know, the thing is, what Hart says, he's like, you know, clearly Schwann knew better than some of these ideas, but the problem is, you know, Schwann and Nasser haven't really, as far as he knows, certainly as far as I know, haven't actively discouraged some of these reprehensible ideas that are being passed off by lesser traditionalists, like that the Baha'is and the Sikhs aren't real religions. It's a religion. I like what you said in one of your writings, Sheikh al-Bashir, that, you know, if you do it the right way with the right intention, you can get to God through invoking a Coca-Cola bottle. Not to be recommended, and not to equate the Sikhs or Baha'is with that, but salvation comes in all sorts of strange and different forms. And who's to say that the Baha'is or the Sikhs didn't have an authentic revelation? I think the real problem isn't with perennialism or traditionalism, it's shoehorning everything into an Islamic idea. And I think maybe that's why I am particularly drawn to those perennialists that are actually not Muslims. Marco Paulus, James Cutzinger, Philip Sherrard, because you don't see them necessarily shoehorning things into a Christian metaphysic, but a lot of the Muslims, such as Nasser, tend to turn perennialism into, oh, wait, all religions are really Islam.
And if they have a problem, it's because they forgot what Islam knows.
Right. The real Islam.
Yeah, whatever that is.
Right.
the one they don't conform to.
And just to be completely clear, I mean, there are certain things that, I'll criticize people, but I also have a great deal of love for them. I mean, Dr. Nasser brought me into the Tariqa. I adore some of his books, such as the books on nature. Some of them are really marvelous. I just feel like there is a diamond in perennialism, but as soon as it becomes the perennialist school, that diamond turns back to carbon.
Yeah, I get the point.
I mean, it's diamondified. Or
as soon as the wonderful view of perennialism becomes its own exoteric form.
Exactly. I think
pretty contradictory. The problem is when people identify with the form, and they've got too much of their egos, their knots, their lower souls mixed in with it, and that part of their psychology can feel like it's threatened by things that are a little bit different.
Yes, but back to the first part of the question, what the Tariqa at its best? Well, we've talked about meeting extraordinary people and that range of experience, but another thing I'd like to offer is, here we are.
Yeah.
Here are the three of us having this conversation.
Yeah. I mean, I can't really disparage anything from the past, even though I might still have some feelings about it, because I'm pretty happy with where I'm ending up.
Right.
And all those stupid things I did, as well as the really clever ones, helped get me here.
That's right. And finally, if you're here, it doesn't really matter.
That's right.
And there's nothing you can do about it if it did.
Yeah, that's right.
But here we are, and in many ways we have the Tariqa, though it had evident problems. Here we are.
As a human organization,
thank God.
Yes, there are going to be problems within any organization, spiritual or otherwise. One of my early understandings, which really helped me make sense out of a lot of things, was that, if you form an organization around some ideal or principle, it's just a matter of time before the principle becomes serving the organization. And, it becomes an end in itself rather than a means.
Yes, that's right.
I mean, you can see that, you can see it when small businesses expand and get big, and the operation gets a little bit less personal, more impersonal by necessity. But it's when everything is run from the what's good for the corporation point of view rather than anything else. I mean, with the 40 Hertz stuff, the idea was to get it out there so people can use it. And of course, you can't operate at a loss forever. I mean, it didn't work.
What you stated, but one of the best statements is it's one of R.J. Lifton's 8 criteria for determining an organization as a cult. And he states it this way: the organization tends to be more about itself than about the purpose for which it was established.
Yeah, that's it exactly.
Yes.
But yeah, I agree with both of you. If you're at where you're at and things got you there, some people have gotten to a wonderful spiritual sort of enlightenment, or whatever you want to call it, by going through horrible things.
Yeah.
So, even if something horrible happened, well, if it's in the past and it helped you, then alhamdulillah for that.
Yeah. Sorry it had to happen that way, but grateful, for what it did to me.
Right.
Right. Was there a but on the end of that sentence,
No,
okay.
It's all good. I did just want to interject before I get to the next question. Today, you were mentioning very often, or a few times you mentioned the Antiochian Orthodox Church, and you got me curious. So I went to one of their liturgies, and wow, that was actually really nice. I loved how they singing the hymns in Arabic.
Yes, it was very nice, and the simpler, more sparse or whatever harmony is more like the Greeks, as I understand it. And on one hand, it doesn't compare with Russian Orthodox choirs, but it doesn't have to. It's beautiful in its simplicity.
Yes, exactly. I mean, the other Orthodox services I've been to in this country, the Russians tend to have a much more Western harmony, the way it's built up.
Yeah.
And the Greeks use organ music, so which is some sort of, it's not the way it's done in Greece, but it's the way it's done here. So I was pleasantly surprised. I just thought I'd mention that.
Yeah, they always have somebody singing the Aeson, I think it's called, that bass note drone that establishes the tonality while everything else moves around. And anyway, I just really loved it as soon as I heard it.
All right, so next question is the direct path.
Now, wait a minute. Just a minute here. Have we dealt with the last part of the first question?
Have we?
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, I think we mostly talked about what's the best, but not what's the most difficult. So if you feel comfortable talking about that.
Well, the most difficult was becoming disillusioned with the organization rather than the teaching.
Right. Yes, I think that's a great disappointment.
That was really hard. It was less hard the second time it happened, but it was really hard then too. But the first time was traumatic for me.
Well, yes, I understand.
But something good came out of it, so,
Right. And something to be learned from it happening.
Right.
That I think we pretty much just covered the first part of this question about the organization becoming more important than the purpose for which it was established.
That's right.
Yeah, or maybe in the latter case, the leader of the organization becoming more important than the purpose for which it was established.
Yeah, that goes along with it. But yeah, it is heavily involved with the fact that people identify with the organization and then like to see it in their own image. But of course, they've never really seen their image, so they don't know.
Well, do you think we have sufficiently dealt with this topic?
That's up to you. Do you think you've sufficiently dealt with it? I mean, it's really up to the two of you how much you would like to go into more depth in this or move on to the next question.
I'm ready to move on.
Okay, I'm ready to move on.
Then the next one would be, the direct path filled certain holes in the Tariqa. What, if anything, can fill any remaining holes?
Well, all right, let me start this one. The wonderful thing about the direct path is that it's a direct path.
Yeah.
And a good one and an effective one. What the direct path is not is a tradition. And one of the things the direct path does not provide is community.
Although that can happen.
It can happen. That's right. Yeah, of sort. Yeah, well, it can happen.
Yeah, the fact that there is that satsang model tends to create a little community.
Right. I think one could probably do with a better model, actually.
Maybe so, maybe.
But I mean, other than that, I mean, I don't want to force myself into a position where I need to be unduly critical of the direct path, which is
no,
from light.
Another thing that it doesn't have is any metaphysics.
Yes,
although
decidedly no metaphysics.
Inevitably it says things that have metaphysical implications.
Right.
But yeah, and it doesn't have a specific method.
Right. And it has also none of those other things that often make life better, like morality.
Well, yes. I mean, there's a sense in which it communicates a certain ethics.
Yes, and all the direct path teachers I know stress the importance of relying on a tradition for life in the world and decisions of ethical nature.
Yeah. Well, there's certain ethical things that flow from understanding what one's true nature is, but it helps if you have a little help seeing how that fits into your life.
Yes, true.
Yeah, I'm not sure that I'm aware of any gaping holes at this point, but on the other hand, I wasn't aware of some of the other holes until I found what filled it.
Right. Well, I'm with you. I don't see any gaping holes either.
It's more on the level of how shall I be here and now? Of course, here and now is always changing. I mean, in terms of experiencing it. So there are decisions to be made. There are attitudes to be assumed. There are things to let go of because they're a hindrance.
Yes, all true.
And in some traditions, they have more of that in their doctrine and practice. But I think you can find it in the direct path. But it probably does.
Yeah.
It probably is easier to find in the direct path if you've been exposed to it in some other,
yes,
other form, whatever it is.
Yes, I think that's true. That's true, and it also makes it more useful.
Yes, makes it polyvalent. When that first big disillusionment with the Tariqa, I was pretty down, and I wanted some inspiration, but I wasn't going to read any Islamic books, any Shuan books, and that's when I really spread out and started really reading, a lot of Buddhist texts and a lot of the church fathers, and yeah, I found a lot of good things, and it enriched at least my inner life, maybe my outer life too. Well, it would, because there are more things I can appreciate.
Yes.
Anyway, what I found was the same thing that I thought I had found in the Tariqa, and it turns out I really did find that in the Tariqa, but
yes, right.
But it didn't always behave that way.
Right. It wasn't recognizable quite in that form.
Right.
At least initially.
Well, if you want to get past form, you have to see the thing in multiple forms, so you realize that no form constrains it.
That's right. Forms are relative. Truth is not. Yes, you're here.